we're just gonna do it. But seriously, did I tell you that happened to me a couple weeks ago? I
Wow.
don't think I did. I told I was talking to Sandy about it. So I went to, you know how I love doctors, right? We've talked about that here.
Yeah.
So I go to the doctor for like regular checkup, seeing a new doctor and general physician. They run my blood work, all the fun things. They call me when it comes in. They're like, your A1C is high. Your triglycerides are elevated and your HDL is low. Your good cholesterol is low. And I was like, super cool. What's the prescription, doc? And they're like, well, have you thought about diabetic therapies? I'm like, yeah, for the last 22 years. I'm like,
I have a whole pad here, right, devoted to it.
Yeah.
Got my name on it and everything.
I'm pretty well versed in diabetic therapy. I know I have that disease. Thank you for the late diagnosis. It's amazing how they don't read, right? And then about the other two, they're like, okay, so then for the triglycerides, that's a fun word. That's why I'm not a doctor. And the HDL, they're like, okay.
That's why you're not a doctor.
That's the only reason. They're like, drink more water, eat more fruits and vegetables, and get at least 3 days of exercise a week. And I didn't even respond. I just said okay to all of them because I was like, you're an effing idiot at this point. So this is why blanket prescriptions without asking questions, business or medical, don't make any sense to me, because I work out 7 days a week for at least 45 minutes a day. I eat the cleanest diet you possibly could. I usually only eat green things and fruit. Very rarely do I have anything outside of that. And I drink 1 to 2 gallons of water a day. So I was like, you didn't ask me what I'm doing. How am I supposed to do more than that? I don't think this was a very good prescription, doc.
No.
It blows my mind. But that's the same thing. It's like, why are we just telling people what to do with their businesses without asking questions first? Bunch of idiots.
And didn't this just happen to me on a podcast?
Yes.
They led me into it. They're like, well, what are your challenges? We don't have any challenges. I mean, we're working on things. Yeah. We want to know. The audience wants to know. What are you working on right now? Oh, right now it's lead gen. Here's all the things you're doing wrong with lead gen. Who the hell said we were doing anything wrong with it? You coaxed it out of me. What's the big hurdle right now? Don't have one. We're killing it. Oh, but everyone's got a challenge. A challenge. I mean, we have things that we're doing. Yeah, it's a mess. We're all doing all kinds of things, right? No. See, because we have a system. I'm on your show not to talk about your thing. You're not diagnosed. I'm not here as a patient. I'm here as another surgeon. What are we doing? Yeah. Talk to me. How's your heart? Yeah, I know. We're both heart surgeons. We're talking about the heart, right? Yeah, but you know, because sometimes we can't see it for ourselves. Can't do surgery on yourself, right? Can't do it. Okay. Are you trying to do surgery on my heart? Do you think I have a problem with my heart? Well, what's your big problem with your heart? I don't know. I guess I wish it were stronger. Here's 11 things that you haven't been doing to strengthen your heart. Never said I wasn't. You asked how I could get better. You asked. You loaded it up. I never said and now I'm here and here's the 5 things. You don't
made
know.
Me answer.
because you don't know anything about, because you can't see it. We can see it. We have a diagnostic.
Hey, you want to talk about that?
Let's do that.
Welcome back to The Ether, the show that disrupts the way you think about running your business. Join me, Brandon, and my co-host, Sean Delaney, the creator of What If, on today's episode. Our goal is to provide context around what we talk about so you have the clarity to cut through the noise and the confidence to grow and run a truly harmonious business. Let's jump in and take the next step to achieving business freedom. Harmonious. Let's run a harmonious business. That sounds fun.
It sounds wonderful.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. It does. Here's the big promise. We're talking about questions. We're talking about better questions to ask in terms of your business. And we're going to give you 5 questions. Here's the clickbaity title. Every business owner needs to ask to get through hard times. Sean, your first guess, what area of our diagnostic are we going to be going through today?
To get through hard times?
Mm-hmm.
Modify.
No, it's not modify.
Yes, it is. But go ahead.
Well, then it is. Point taken.
No, let's see. Let's see. I don't know where you were going. Again, well, tell me about your heart, Brandon.
Here's the 11 things that I'm doing to make sure my heart is in good shape. My original intention was navigation. Because that's
it always comes back to navigation.
Yeah, we haven't gone through these 5 questions though. So you tell me. We're going to go through the whole diagnostic over the course of 8 more weeks. So you pick. We have not done either navigation or modify. So you tell me, where are we going? Where are we driving this ship?
Well, everything has to start with navigation. If we haven't done navigation, then let's do navigation first. I thought you meant, hey, hard times, something's happened, we need to pivot. The ability to pivot is in modify, change management, that kind of thing. But if you mean how to be set before the hard times even come, build the lighthouse before the storm, let's do that.
Amen. It's always the foundation. It's where we start with all of our clients. And it's one of those things. Yeah, I'd rather do it when we don't need to, so that when the hard times come, because they always will, there's always challenges. We just talked about challenges, whether real or made up or pulled out of somebody. Let's have something to look at to kind of pull us in our business forward. That's the whole goal.
Yeah.
So let's go through these 5 questions. We're going to ask you.
So what don't you like about your wife? Well, no, I mean, I love everything about what you, everything, every single thing. There isn't everything. Oh, come on. Well, and then insert, I'm not going to say a thing, like insert thing here that a guy would say, the most innocuous thing. Well, I mean, if it had to be one thing, I'd be like, yeah, one thing. You've been married forever. The way she chews her food. Oh, you think she chews like a horse? And here's how we can resolve this, because really that comes down to communication. You guys aren't communicating about how her eating habits are disgusting to you. No one said these things. What are you doing, right? What are you doing?
So you're very upset about this.
I'm just saying it's a little gimmicky and tacticky, and here's how to get something out of a show that you don't need to do to get out of a show, right? Like, let's not manufacture problems for people until we actually diagnose what their problem is, because when people throw their problem at us, I have a time management issue.
They don't.
What's the first that we go? Maybe you do
questions.
We never take them at even what they say. So to extract something from somebody with a certain set of no. We want to understand first. So yeah, let's talk about the questions we would ask to see where people are on navigation, because it all starts there.
Let's do it. So the questions we're referencing come from our diagnostic tool, which you have access to. It's down in the show notes below, wherever you're watching or listening. We'll put it on the screen at some point too. Whatif.com. Actually, it's on the screen right there under my name. If you're watching, go to whatif.com. If you want BAD 2.0, go over to, this way, Sean's screen, whatif.com/clarity. Got some juicy little nuggets there for you. So more on that later. But anyway, the BAD, we're going to start with our diagnostic 50 questions that we ask every single business to see how harmonious their business is. And we're going to start with the 5 of navigation. What do you got? You're waving your finger like you want to.
No, I went. Yeah, you said.
Okay.
All the things. Right. No, I'm listening to you.
Question number 1. So what we're going to do is go through the 5 questions, figure out what we're really searching for as the answer to this question. The scale is on 0 to 10 or 1 to 10. So you would rate these in terms of how well you're doing them currently in your business. We're going to ask them in the form of questions, though. So if you go to the assessment, it's going to look a little bit different. Question 1, do we have an effective vision statement that sets a clear goal for our future? So on paper, that seems pretty self-explanatory, right? But why do we ask that question? That's the first question on the assessment. Why is that one so important?
So say it again.
Why do we have an effective vision statement that sets a clear goal for our future?
And so effective is in there on purpose. That is the leverage point of that question, because so many people will say, yeah, I've got a vision. Is it effective? And the next thing they say that breaks my heart is, what do you mean? Let's just sit with that for a minute. Because a lot of people hearing this, Brandon, are going to say, when we have a vision statement, what do you mean effective? So many say it's amorphous. They don't really know what the vision is. Yeah, well, we're going to be huge. What do you mean? But define huge. Right? You know the way we have to chip away at that giant marble block in order to get the statue inside. Like, okay, we have to have timelines. We have to have have metrics that tell us when we've gotten there. We have to have milestones. That's what, but by effective, they're not even sure what they mean. That means they're not even utilizing it. So even if they understand that they should probably have a vision, if it is defined, they don't even know that they should be using it. So the reason that question is asking, do you have an effective vision statement, is because it is supposed to be driving us towards someplace. It is supposed to be helping us source talent, source partnerships and JVs. It's supposed to be the impetus for every single project that we're doing. Every allocation of resources in order to change something should be towards that vision. Yeah, we're effectuating our mission, but to what end? The vision. And so nothing moves if everything were perfect in your business, your life, in everything, in anything, in any moment. Life wouldn't have to move on. It wouldn't have to transform. It wouldn't have to grow to anything. We have reached nirvana, bliss, the pinnacle, godhood. Nothing else needs to happen. We're not there. Of course we're not there. Well, Sean, when you say it that way, it's obvious. Yes, on purpose. So there is change happening because of your business. You are moving towards a thing. What is it? If you do not know, I don't know why you're doing anything in your business. And so that is why it is the first question, and that is why it is stated or asked in that way.
Yeah, my follow-up question to this is always when we're doing a bad review and a breakdown call, because some people put 10 and they think, no, my vision, it's perfect. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I just say, what is it? What's your vision statement? And they have to go, oh, I have it written down. Let me go see it. Immediately you get a 1. Because that eliminates the word effective. We have a vision statement. Cool. It's on paper somewhere. You've done it, but effective means you're using it. And it's like you said, driving you towards an outcome. If you don't know it, if it's not integrated into your entire team, like if your employees don't know it, it's a 1 or a 0.
And I'm good with, you can't state it verbatim because you're really gussied up. You really gussied it up. It was very flowery. But if you can say, yep, 25,000 businesses running harmonious by 2026. Or well, I'm making it up, right? Boom, done. And then when we read it, oh, it's great with this impact and this, that, all the bells and whistles, that's great. But if every single employee can say, vision's this date, this metric, done. Through the filter of the other things that we're going to get to if we're doing navigation. But that's the purpose of that.
I love it. That's easy. It is an easy, it's simple. It's a simple place to start.
Simple.
It's so important to start there.
So simple. These things are so simple, they can be ignored.
Yes. And they often are.
All right, done.
Question 2. Mission. Oh, it's the second part. Mission, vision. This all makes sense, right? It's coming together. Also simple. Do we have an effective mission statement? /? And are our employees motivated by our why? So it's 2-part question. Same thing. It's 1 out of 10. But first of all, break down these 2 parts. So again, we have effective mission statement. So that's 1. And then our employees are motivated by our why.
So originally this was just the first, which was effective mission statement. But so many people still didn't understand what I meant by effective that I was saying, because too many of the entrepreneurs I was seeing who said yes to it. If you say no, yeah, what's a mission statement? Okay, great, you're there. But if they say yes, 100%, I found a delta in, they thought I just meant them. So the ones who had it said, of course I know my mission. It's the whole reason I started the company. So this is for those heartfelt, charitable organization kind of people who might fall into the camp of going, of course I know my mission. That's why I wake up and do this thing all day, every day. And then you go, is it effective? Yeah, it is effective. Again, internal, not realizing that I have to spread that out to the rest of the organization. And so I wasn't getting the answer I wanted from just asking the first part, because effective, they weren't extrapolating, right? And it didn't happen so much with vision. It was like, if you got the mission part right, then the vision wouldn't, but the vision had to come first, because why else do anything? And so on this one, we're dialing it in now to say, oh, and by the way, when we say effective, is that also translating to your people? We're sort of preceding the questions that we're going to get when we talk about people in home, humans optimized in a meaningful environment. So anyway, that's why that was what that is.
Yeah, and what I like about that part too, and this is where the disconnect comes, like you're talking about. So an effective mission statement, most of us start as solopreneurs. We have an idea, we make a product or a service, and then we go sell it, and we hire people along the way. That's awesome. The problem comes in when you're hiring people to do jobs, and they're there for a paycheck. No matter how good your mission is, you mentioned nonprofits, people are usually a little bit more connected to the mission in a nonprofit. Salaries tend to be lower. In a for-profit business, a conventional business, people just want a paycheck a lot of times, and they're so disconnected. They may not even know your company has a mission. So one of the things we do now that we have a new partnership where we optimize the human being. Like you said, in home, we focus on the people, but also the business and the structure and the operations. We don't go further than navigation until we've actually tied everybody's personal mission, their personal why, to the company why and the company vision. So we connect the human beings that are in your company in their custom roles that we build and what they want in their lives to the metrics and outcomes that you've identified for your business. The power that unlocks and the speed that you can grow your company with is insane, because the people are now connected. They know why they're personally showing up every day, and also how that impacts the company. But not only that, everybody around them too. So you have,
by the time I die, it will not be human resources management anymore. It'll be home.
Imagine human resources.
Humans optimized in a meaningful environment. Home will be the model for sourcing and managing and interacting with and playing with other people to achieve your mission. And that, how disruptive is that about thinking about your business, the engine of business, the cogs and wheels? We're taking all of that coggery away. You leave it where it should reside in our architecture. And it is a beautiful, pristine machine when those cogs are all unfettered by the rest of these concepts. And then home will be where it is and needs to be. So we're getting archaic here and a little esoteric. Let's get back to the questions, though. But yes, the partnership with Human Op, insanely powerful to what we're trying to do around managing people.
Enough said. More on that later. More on that in
a
few weeks. Moron. Anyway, question 3, another two-parter. It's about core values. So we have a defined set of core values, part 1. And our workforce shares these values and is rewarded for demonstrating them. So I assume this came out of a very similar situation as mission. You're probably getting an answer of yes on defined set of core values, and then but you're not doing anything with
it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, defined was to set Do you know what your core values are? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I always tell the truth. I don't know why I'm smoking a cigar. Like when I became Monopoly man, right? Oh, we always tell the truth there. Never. No. It was, do you know your core values? Yeah, I know my core values. And then there's sporadic or one-word answers, or loyalty,
accountability, trust,
that kind of stuff. So we know that we do core values differently. Yes. But so I wanted to first elucidate an answer on how defined are they. You can't just say, yes, I have them. I wanted to get over that hurdle. Say, are they defined? You know what the core values are. And then read me the second part of the question, and then I'll break that down too.
So the statement, I'll make it a question.
Yeah.
Does our workforce share these values, and are they rewarded for demonstrating them?
And so this was, this was again seeding the questions in home, because that's the purpose of this, right? So I had real estate. I wanted the questionnaire to be 50 questions. So first I want to know, are they defined? But the real value comes then from, did you do anything with it? And so are you setting things up in your company? If they really do matter, are we rewarding people on that? And then, by the way, if you're going to be rewarding people or letting them go based on them committing to and manifesting those and demonstrating those values, do they have them? Did we hire them? Let's be fair about this, right? And not say now that you've been hired here, do you value the same things we value? Well, I should have known this ahead of time. So let's already say, are we doing that? Because if you say no here, then I get a lot of information, both on that question and the other places where this information is going to go.
Yeah, we've talked about this in our workshop, and core values, I believe it shows up in 4 other questions throughout the BAD. It's sprinkled in. And one of the things where this really comes to light is, I believe, in analyze. So if we're designing KPIs for a role, or targets and metrics around whatever position we're in, whatever human being is chasing those metrics, if we don't incorporate the core values, you can make more sales by selling to the wrong clients or stealing money from people. And that's where this comes in as like one of those checks and balances. So it's really important where the second part, they are rewarded for demonstrating them. Obviously that implies that they're disciplined for breaking them, should that come to be. But you have to incorporate them.
Another thing that added into this when I was coming up with these questions was this idea from law school. Sorry, I mentioned it, but that there's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, and so the letter of the law is only whatever we thought to write and account for. And then the spirit of the law is, well, we know, let's not get cute. We know what we were trying to do. Okay. And the spirit of the law there is then saying, we're going to have processes, procedures, rules, metrics that we're accounting you for. But the spirit of the core values, if you align with it naturally, I shouldn't have to tell you all the things. You will. So you and I, Brandon, work so well together because the number one thing I looked for at the beginning between us was, not what you knew. You're like, I know all kinds of things. Yeah. Okay, great.
That was very little. Like that, I knew very little.
It took very little time. I glossed over that and just said, do you believe the same things? Do you see the world in the same way I do? Yes. Great. So then can you see the mission that I'm on? 100%. Can you see where it could go? Oh, wow, it could. Game on. That's what we need. And if I didn't write something down, if I didn't say this is a rule around something, I could go on an Alaskan cruise. I don't do those things. I want to go on an Alaskan cruise. Anybody listening who wants to take me on an Alaskan cruise, I'm for hire. I don't know what that means. I want to go on an Alaskan cruise. But if I go on an Alaskan cruise, you know what to do when something falls between the cracks of things, processes, procedures, and things that we've done. I don't mean to use you like you're an employee, right, as my partner. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for the people listening that they have set down Here's how things are supposed to happen. They go on vacation. They're out of pocket. Somebody's sick. They can't be there. Things are going to fall through the cracks. Well, not if we understand navigation in the way that we should understand it, and that we've all been hired to the fact that we share the core values, the mission, and the vision. And that takes care of things because you know what to do, because I know what we believe and I know what will never contravene.
It's the spirit of the law. I love it.
Spirit of the law.
I like it. All right, question 4. We got 2 more. So this is about the time designated for strategic planning. So do we have a time, and here's that little word again, time and process for strategic planning?
So when I would say to people, do you do strategic planning regularly? They're like, oh yeah, no, I got it. When?
Can we define real quick what that means too? Because I've heard people say, what's their strategic planning? It's making a list of goals. And that's just not an effective strategic planning session. So let's define that and then break down time and process.
So you have to kick the tires on this, even if it's for 5 minutes. And it seems ridiculous to say, well, we need to, if it could be done so quickly, then we can do it anytime. And there's a lot of tasks in our lives that we go, well, I'll do it later. Did you clean the litter box? It takes 5 minutes. I'll do it later. Well, the cat's like, how about you do it now? Right? How about we get this on the regular? Okay, because quick things and easy things, I'll do it tomorrow. Did you tell your kids you love them today? I tell them all the time. When? Well, all the time. Do you? I mean, maybe you do, but maybe you think you do and you don't. And maybe you think you do it a lot, and then 3 months went by and you didn't give your wife flowers. I don't know. Brandon, if only there were an app to help with things like that. It's a separate discussion. But so put it on the calendar, because you are going to be crazy busy in fulfillment with our system. The making of the money and doing of the things will be so, you'll have so many opportunities. You'll be all over the place. And you and I, Brandon, think of just now with us changing, adding some offers and doing some other things. Oh my God, we have all these things we have to do, and we're running. Yet, first of the quarter, first of the month, we have checkpoints that we go, let's take a second. Let's kick the tires on this. Do we still believe all the same things we believe? Yes, we do. Amen. Great. Is the mission the same? Has not changed. We rate it. Maybe it hits us differently today. Maybe it is different. But because if you don't check in on these things, your feelings can shift slowly, boiling the frog over time, moving you off of where you were, and suddenly you are disharmonious. There's friction. There's some kind of tension. Why doesn't it feel the same way? Well, because the boss person has been simmering askew for 7 months on something, and we didn't kick the tires to say, do we still believe these things? Still love these people that we're trying to help? Still want to help them in the same way? Do we still think we can achieve that vision, or do we have to adjust it? Up or down? Because you and I have had to adjust it up twice and say, does this change other things? Yes. Had opportunities where we could say, ooh, we could do this to adjust our vision, but do we have to compromise one of our core values? Yes. Do we want to do that or not? You have to bring it back there. You can't just run and gun, especially if you have more than one partner. Right? I think about that with the other business that I'm building. Multiple partners. Massive opportunities come in. We stopped for a minute and said, let's do this. Right? That's a process to say massive changes up or down that could affect our vision could lead us astray. Right? Somebody literally said to me, yeah, but when you're handed $500 million, your values could go out the window. Oh no, they couldn't. Wait, what do you mean they could? They couldn't for me. Are we all good? What are we willing to do? You have to stop there and check that amongst all the parties. Otherwise, siren songs pull the ship towards the rock. So that's what I'm trying to get at there and start to pull at. Do we have a timing, a rhythm, a cadence? Some people are like, every team meeting, we read the core values and the mission and the vision. Okay, I think that's overkill for most organizations. Maybe not for them. And if not for them, and that's what they hire to, and that's what they love, God bless, let's go. I don't like we do it when we do it, but we all get it. No. If you are not watching it, if you are not keeping that wheel on track, it is moving. It is. Keep it on track. We can leave it there.
Love it. Question 5, final question. As our leadership team plans, do we ask our employees for their ideas? Tell me about that real quick, because I want to unpack that question, but also from your history in the Fortune 100, these massive companies, how often are employees just kind of stepped on and told what to do?
We'll unpack it in the reverse. All the time, they're stepped on. Many times I see corporate surveys being misused. Either I have seen in corporations where you'll have several executives at the table, all representing the different ways it could be wrong. Some like, well, we've got to ask them so they feel like we asked them. Right? Let them eat cake. What kind of elitist kind of, I've heard this in the halls of massive companies that you're trying to be. Well, if I only could have their success, that's at that table somewhere, because the institution allows that to happen, because it's managed out, massaged out, it's mayonnaised out, the impact of that. But there are literally leaders out there that, like, we have to ask them because we have to ask them.
Check
the box, make them feel like they were heard. Your voices matter. Vote here, and it all goes into, it's just one big tube into the incinerator in the basement. Right?
Human resources. There you go.
And remote counts. Towards what? And then there are the people that say, yeah, because then we'll find out what they're really thinking. Right? That kind of also terrible perspective. And then there are some that are like, yes, we want to know these things, but who knows if it'll go anywhere, well-meaning kind of, we'll throw them a bone because they're not going to change corporate policy, because who runs corporate policy? The board of directors. Right. And the shareholders. So screw you. Now, privately held companies don't have that whole sort of Damocles hanging over their head, but they still have to think about, there's so much you can get from employee surveys to think about, is the culture now driving the machine or not? Right? We could have overhired towards one kind of metric and said, wow, we're a company about backpacking and outdoor life, and we let everyone bring their tents and their dogs and their hammocks to work and told them all they can have nap time, but no one's working ever. Like, that's a problem, right? Like, you can go way too far. Like, well, how did this happen? We boiled the frog again by constantly always just going towards what people are asking for. And so your questions to your employees have to be related to the mission and vision, not how can we make things more fun around here? Well, shit, I could give you 100 ways to make things more fun around here. Like, you can quickly change the culture and drive out good people over time. And you'll think you're always just asking. This sounds like I'm being anti-democratic, right? Like, this is how to change a country over time, right? But you could, in the way you're asking the questions, drive this into the wrong place, and it's just a zoo. And you're like, how did this ever happen? We asked these well-meaning people for their input, and look at what they did. Yeah, because you asked them their input around their life and experience at the company, not starting with we share these values. We want to achieve this mission and we have this vision. What are your contributions to those goals? Now that's beautiful. And that is where I get, you say, what's my experience? My experience being brought into a big giant company when they say, we have this intractable problem. No one can solve it. No, you mean the people that you pull into the room to solve it can't solve it. The people who can solve it are the people who are throwing duct tape and spit and glue on this thing all day, every day to keep it working. I'm going to go talk to the front line. And yes, there are axes that are being ground there, and there's bullshit that's going on. You have to sort through all of that. But ultimately, they're the one that say, well, the only reason this thing's running is because I keep doing this because that's what the clients want. Okay. So what I mean by saying, do you ask them is, too often management's management. Now we don't need to go down there. We can ask them what they want from care and feeding, but how would they know how to make the product better? I'm the product owner in this giant company, right? I own that division. What could they possibly know? Well, they know what they're dealing with. They're the closest person to the people we're trying to serve. And you haven't talked to those people in 15 years. You're where you are because you started to navigate this machine instead of understanding those people. By those people, I mean the people we're trying to serve. So who knows them best? The people interacting with them all day, every day. Those are the people you talk to.
I feel like we should send these 5 questions to our government.
You can ask,
like a good place to start.
You can ask Raytheon for how they could improve the U.S. Or you can ask my plumber. My plumber knows because he's dealing with the effects of everything all day. And the Raytheon executive wants to sell missiles. Not to shit on Raytheon here, but And hey, by the way, anyone hearing this podcast today, I am not suicidal and I am not looking to kill myself with a missile, right?
I've had to start saying on Harmonious at Lunch, we've had some awesome episodes lately. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only, of course. And go check out some of those episodes if you want some more.
And if I'm going to kill myself, it's not going to be with 6 stab wounds to my own back. Okay, just so you know, I have a shoulder injury. I really can't.
Yeah, it doesn't reach very well.
It's the world we live in, Brandon. There we go. Let's not end it on a sour note.
No, that's a good note. We're happy. We're positive. We love our lives. Let's reinforce
questions. Are those good questions? Do you think that those questions asked in the right way and sorted through in the right way can tell a lot? How do we know so much about the businesses that we talk to, Brandon?
Yeah, that's the whole point, because this took us 40 minutes to digest and get through, and it takes you 8 minutes to get through the entire assessment. Obviously there's more to be unpacked than meets the eye, but looking at the questions with a critical eye and really breaking them apart word by word and thinking about it, does my company have an effective vision statement? Like, really break that down. Think about it. That sets a clear goal for our future. That's the whole point of all this. When we go through these reports with our clients and potential clients, really, as we're onboarding them with this assessment, I have the most complete picture of their business. They're actually usually stunned by how much I know about their business. And I always make it very clear. I'm like, listen, I love to go into these cold. Truth be told, I have no idea what your business does, but I know everything I need to because of these 50 questions. And that's the power of having a tool like this and being able to use it to navigate. That's the section we're in today. Navigate your course for the future. So we're going to do this 8 more times over the next 8 weeks for every single section. Sean, this is crazy. That's a lot to digest. If you piece these 10 episodes together, you could have the next $1 billion company.
This is not it is an 8-minute I will say it again. It is an 8-minute diagnostic, not because it's not powerful, because of an insane amount of intense work over 25 years to get it to a place. And people, I love it when they take it. They go, I would have asked it this way. Would you? Would you have? After doing this for 25 years? That's great. You can tweak them. Trust me. These work, and they get us dialed in to a point where we can see the things that are holding you back that none of us could see before. They're hidden. They've been hidden. It's why we're all bashing our heads against the wall saying, I keep trying things, and maybe the next course will be the thing. Maybe the next seminar I go to, and I can figure this all out, right? There are hidden problems, and this diagnostic is designed there just to open it up and find where the problems are. And then there's a million more questions afterwards. Trust me. But
the real question is, what are the 3 things I need to do to grow my business? What should I do? Can you help me? Stop listening to those people. Enough of this crap. We'll see you next week on the Ether. Go take the bath.